The early morning fog clung to the abandoned outskirts of the city, masking the wreckage from the last interstellar conflict. Amid the twisted steel and shattered glass of what had once been a research facility, Dr. Nathan Carter approached cautiously, his boots crunching on debris. Inside the facility, the air was cold, sterile, and eerily silent except for the faint hum of emergency lights. In the center of the makeshift triage room lay her, a single alien survivor, completely still, her crystalline skin reflecting the dim fluorescent light. Tubes and monitors surrounded her fragile frame, keeping her barely alive. Nathan knelt beside the containment bed, studying her delicate features, elongated ears, softly glowing violet eyes closed as if in a dream, and a faint shimmer along her limbs that suggested life beneath the paralysis. He checked the monitors again, heartbeat steady, oxygen stable. Yet there was something unnatural about her immobility. He whispered, almost instinctively, "You're safe now. I won't let them hurt you." A faint pulse of light ran across her eyelids, synchronized with the soft beeping of the monitor. Nathan froze, heart skipping a beat. For a brief moment, it felt like she was acknowledging him, a flicker of awareness in a body trapped by something he couldn't yet understand. The room smelled of antiseptic and something else, smoke, ash, loss. Nathan realized, as he carefully adjusted her that this wasn't just a medical emergency. This was a story of survival, grief, and secrets that the universe had abandoned. He exhaled slowly and reached for the control panel, initiating the recording for the medical logs. His voice was quiet, steady, but carried an unspoken promise. "I'll help you. I'll find a way." Outside, the city remained quiet. Inside, the alien girl's faint pulse of violet light seemed to answer him, a fragile beacon of consciousness waiting to be understood. Weeks had passed since Nathan first found her. The alien girl remained motionless, her body paralyzed, but the monitors revealed subtle signs of awareness. Tiny fluctuations in her bioluminescent skin, micro-changes in her breathing, small pulses of violet light along her limbs. Nathan sat beside her every day in the quiet hospital room, talking softly, reading aloud, playing earth music, anything to fill the silence. He had tried every medical protocol, every diagnostic, yet nothing explained her paralysis. One evening, as rain streaked the large windows, he noticed something new. A faint flicker in her eyes, a deliberate rhythm, almost like blinking Morse code. Heart pounding, he leaned closer. He tapped his pen gently on the edge of her bedside table, testing a pattern. She responded. Small pulses, perfectly timed, as if she understood. Nathan's chest tightened. She's trying to communicate. He began keeping a notebook, sketching symbols, noting rhythms, blinking lights. Days became weeks, and slowly, an understanding emerged. Her eyes could speak, telling him when she was in pain, when she was hungry, even when she felt fear. Nathan whispered one night, voice barely audible over the storm outside, "I don't know who abandoned you, or why. But I promise I won't leave you." The alien girl's pulse of violet light accelerated slightly, almost like a heartbeat in sync with his words, and for the first time, Nathan felt a fragile connection. It wasn't just biology that tied them together. It was empathy, patience, and the quiet human desire to be seen, even across species. Nathan had begun to notice patterns in her pulses, subtle changes that hinted at emotion. Yet, no matter how much they communicated, her body remained unmoving, her gaze distant, haunted. One late night, as the fluorescent lights of the hospital flickered softly, Nathan spoke softly, almost to himself. "You've survived everything, but you carry so much pain." Her eyes shimmered faintly, the violet lights along her skin dimming then brightening, almost like she was absorbing his words. Nathan held her hand, fragile, almost ethereal, and felt a spark of warmth. "I can't imagine what you lost," he said, voice thick with emotion. "But whatever it is, you don't have to carry it alone anymore." A sudden pulse of light shot across her chest in an erratic rhythm, startling him. Then, slowly, a pattern emerged, sorrow, confusion, fear. And underneath it, something else, hope. Nathan realized then, her paralysis wasn't physical. It was grief. A body frozen in response to the trauma of losing her home, her family, her people. He knelt closer, whispering, "It's okay to grieve, but you're alive. You're here. And I see you." For the first time, a tear, translucent like liquid starlight, ran down her crystalline cheek. She blinked rapidly, and Nathan understood. She trusted him. In that quiet room, surrounded by the hum of machines and the soft patter of rain, Nathan and the alien girl shared a silent understanding. Grief could be shared, and perhaps, slowly, it could be healed. The room was quiet except for the soft hum of the life support equipment. Faint light panels bathed the walls in shifting hues, mimicking Earth sunsets, painting long, warm shadows across the sterile surfaces. Nathan sat beside her bed, heart hammering, staring at the alien girl who had not spoken, not moved, not responded for weeks. He held a small stylus that pulsed faintly with light. It was designed to communicate in a language of flashes and rhythms, simple, subtle, intimate. Carefully, he rested it against her hand. A flicker ran along her fingers. Nathan froze. Her eyes, glowing faintly, brightened ever so slightly. "You understand, don't you?" he whispered. 2 rapid blinks. "Yes." For a long moment, neither spoke. Not with words, not with gestures. The hum of the machines was the only sound. Yet something shifted. Nathan could feel it. A bridge forming between 2 worlds, fragile but real. He pointed to the window. The night sky stretched endlessly, Earth's stars winking softly. She watched, then blinked in rapid sequences. Questions? Recognition? Awe. Nathan responded with gentle pulses, naming constellations in the rhythm he had taught her. Slowly, her responses became patterns he could recognize. Hours passed. Time stretched, compressed, lost meaning. The alien girl tilted her head, one glowing hand brushing his arm, a small pulse of light matching the rhythm of his heartbeat. Trust. Understanding. A silent first conversation. Nathan leaned back slightly, exhaling. She hadn't moved, hadn't spoken, yet somehow, she had reached out. And for the first time, he felt that maybe, just maybe, they could heal together. The lights in the lab dimmed slightly, casting long shadows across the polished floors. Nathan sat on the edge of her bed, notebook in hand, recording the subtle flashes of her glowing eyes. Every blink, every faint pulse of light, was a word, a sentence, a fragment of thought he was desperate to understand. Today felt different. Her gaze lingered longer, almost accusingly, as if weighing the burden she carried. Nathan noticed a tremor in the lights of her fingertips, not fear, not confusion, but sorrow. He gently reached out, placing his hand near hers. The room's hum seemed to quiet, almost like the world itself was holding its breath. "You don't have to carry it alone," he whispered. Her eyes shifted, a slow ripple of silver and blue, a light pattern he hadn't seen before. It wasn't just sadness. It was loss. Profound, ancient grief. Nathan's chest tightened. He realized that her paralysis wasn't purely physical. It was a shield, a barrier formed by memory and pain, by the echoes of a world she'd lost and the people who had abandoned her. He tapped a slow rhythm against the stylus, a gentle heartbeat pattern. "A question, can you trust me?" She paused. Then, faintly, her hand twitched toward his. A single pulse of light matched his rhythm. "Yes." Nathan swallowed hard. The breakthrough was small, almost imperceptible, but monumental. For the first time, she had reached toward him, not out of obligation, not from training, but from choice. And in that choice, Nathan glimpsed the truth. The alien girl wasn't broken. She was grieving. And grief could be shared. He leaned closer, whispering softly, "We'll get through this. Together." The hum of the machines resumed its steady song, but the room felt warmer now, as if hope had seeped into the sterile walls. The lab was quiet except for the faint beeping of monitors. Nathan sat cross-legged on the floor, facing her bed. The alien girl's glowing eyes reflected in his, flickering like distant stars. Words weren't needed anymore. They spoke in pulses, gestures, and light. He held up a small whiteboard, writing a single question. "Do you remember your home?" Her eyes dimmed, then brightened with a slow, wavering rhythm. Nathan felt a shiver run through him. The answer wasn't yes or no. It was a memory, heavy and aching, filled with sounds and smells he could only imagine. He placed a hand gently on her arm. "I can't bring it back, but I can listen. I can be here." Her lights pulsed, faster now, almost urgent, almost pleading. And then a soft, deliberate blink, a pattern he recognized as gratitude. She was letting him in. Slowly, she began to form shapes with her fingers, crude but meaningful. A tree, a building, a sky. He realized she was painting her past in the only way she could. Nathan felt tears sting his eyes. He knelt closer, matching her gestures with his own, drawing alongside her imaginary landscapes. Together, they recreated fragments of her world. Hours passed unnoticed. Time didn't matter. For the first time, she laughed, a tiny vibration through her glowing form, a soundless melody that resonated in Nathan's chest. In that moment, he understood, it wasn't just about healing her body. It was about healing her spirit. And perhaps, unknowingly, she was healing his as well. When the lights dimmed further for the evening, Nathan whispered, "I'm not going anywhere. Ever." Her eyes glowed steadily, a pulse of acknowledgement. It was the closest thing to Nathan arrived at the lab early, the sterile lights casting long shadows across the quiet room. The alien girl was awake, her eyes dimly glowing, but something had changed. A subtle tension in her gestures, a flicker of unease in the light patterns she used to communicate. He knelt beside her, holding her hand gently. "What is it?" Her fingers twitched, forming shapes too fast for him to follow at first. Then slower, deliberate, a star, a broken ship, a figure left behind. Nathan's heart tightened. She wasn't just paralyzed by grief. She had been abandoned. And worse, she had witnessed her people leave her, leaving her stranded on Earth. He placed a hand over his mouth to stop a gasp. You survived while everyone else." A slow, sad pulse of light confirmed it. She had watched her world vanish, her family gone, and she had carried the weight of that alone. Nathan's chest ached. "I'm so sorry," he whispered. "You didn't deserve any of this." Her eyes flickered brighter, almost impatiently, as if urging him to understand something deeper. He realized the paralysis wasn't just physical or grief, it was a shield. She had shut herself off from anyone who might leave her again. Her grief had locked her in silence. Nathan leaned closer, pressing his forehead gently against hers. "I won't leave," he promised. "I'll stay. I'll help you rebuild whatever home we can make here." For a long moment, she was still. Then slowly, the lights in her eyes pulsed steadily, a rhythm of trust, fragile but growing. He exhaled, relief and determination coiling in his chest. Healing her wouldn't be simple. It would take time, patience, and courage. But he also realized she had chosen to let him in, even in the smallest way. Outside, the sun was rising over the city. Inside, in that quiet lab, two unlikely souls had begun to bridge the impossible gap between worlds. One heartbeat, one gesture at a time. Weeks had passed, and the alien girl's small gestures had become a language Nathan could finally read. Every blink, every flicker of light, every subtle movement told him more about her thoughts and feelings than words ever could. Nathan sat beside her in the quiet of the lab one evening. The city outside was alive with distant traffic, but here, it was just the two of them, a human and an alien, worlds apart yet inexplicably connected. He placed a hand on hers. "I want you to know. I see you. I understand you. Not just your grief, but you." Her lights flickered faster this time, a rhythm almost like a laugh. Nathan smiled, a lump in his throat. She was responding. Truly responding. Then, almost imperceptibly, she leaned forward, resting her head gently against his shoulder. It was the first contact that felt fully intentional, fully hers. Nathan froze for a heartbeat, overwhelmed by the vulnerability she was offering him. "You're not alone anymore," he whispered. "I'll never leave you. Whatever happens, we'll face it together." The alien's lights pulsed steadily now, a glowing warmth that radiated trust, understanding, and something more, hope. Nathan realized then that her paralysis had never been just physical. It had been her grief, her fear, her isolation. And now, through patience, empathy, and the bond they had forged, she was beginning to move again, in mind, in spirit, in heart. He smiled softly, brushing a strand of silvery hair from her face. "We'll make it through. You and me. Together." And for the first time since she had been found abandoned on Earth, the alien girl allowed herself to hope. Not for rescue, not for escape, but for a life she could choose, side by side with someone who truly saw her. Outside, the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the lab in soft orange light. Inside, a silent promise had been made, that even across galaxies, even between species, connection, understanding, and love could flourish. The alien girl blinked once, slowly, deliberately, and Nathan knew. This was the beginning of everything.